Hare Krishna, dear devotees, please accept my humble obeisances. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna. Chapter 4, Vidura approaches Maitreya, text 1. Uddhava uvacha atha te tad anugnata bhuktva pitva cha varunim taya vibramsita gnana duruktairmarma pashprushaho.
Hare Krishna. Thereafter, all of them, the descendants of Rishni and Bhoja, being permitted by the Brahmanas, partook of the remnants of prasadam and also drank liquor made of rice. By drinking, they all became delirious and bereft of knowledge. They touched the cores of each other's hearts with harsh words.
Tesham mayyareya doshena vishamiktra chetasam nimilochatiravav asta venunam iva mardanam.
As by the friction of bamboos destruction takes place, so also at sunset, by the interaction of the force of intoxication, all their minds became unbalanced and destruction took place.
Bhagavan Swatma Mayaya Gatim Tam Avalokya Saha Saraswatim Upasprishya Vrikshamulam Upavisat.
The personality of Godhead, Lord Shri Krishna, after foreseeing the end of his family by his internal potency, went to the bank of the river Saraswati, sipped water, and sat down underneath a tree.
Aham Chokto Bhagavata Prapannarti Haraneha Vadartim Tvam Prayahiti Swakulam Sandhisrushana.
The Lord is a vanquisher of the distresses of one who is surrendered unto him. Thus, he who desired to destroy his family told me previously to go to Badrikashram.
Tadapi Tathapi tad abhipretam janam aham arindama prishtatonvagamam bhartu pada vishleshanak samaha.
Yet, in spite of my knowing his desire to destroy the dynasty, O Arindama Vidura, I followed him because it was impossible for me to bear separation from the lotus feet of the Master.
Adraksham ekam astinam vichinvam dayitam pyatim Sriniketam saraswatyam kritaketam aketanam.
Thus following, I saw my patron and master, Lord Shri Krishna, sitting alone and deeply thinking, taking shelter on the bank of the river Saraswati, although he is the shelter of the goddess of fortune.
Shyamavadatam viragcharna prashantaruna lochanam durbishchaturbir vidaitam pita kaushama barena cha.
The Lord's body is blackish, but is eternal, full of bliss and knowledge, and very, very beautiful. His eyes are always peaceful, and they are reddish like the rising morning sun. I could immediately recognize him as a supreme personality of Godhead by his four hands, different symbolic representations, and yellow silk garments.
वाम उरव अधिष्ठित्य दक्षिणान् गृह सरोरुहम् अपश्रितर्भक्त स्वार्थम् अक्षरं त्यक्त पिप्पलम्.
The Lord was sitting, taking rest against a young banyan tree, with his right lotus foot on his left thigh, and although he had left all household comforts, he looked quite cheerful in that posture.
तस्मिन् महाभगवतो द्वपीयानशु सुरहत्सखा लोकन् अनुचरन् सिद्धा असस्साद यद्रच्छय.
At that time, after traveling in many parts of the world, Maitreya, a great devotee of the Lord and a friend and well-wisher of the great sage Krishna Dvaipanya Vyasa, reached that spot out of his own perfect accord.
तस्यानुरक्तस्य तस्यानुरक्तस्य मुकुन्दः प्रमोद भवनात् कन्दर्यस्य अश्रनवातो मम अनुरागहास समीक्षया विश्रमायान् उवाच.
Maitreya Muni was greatly attached to him, the Lord, and he was listening in a pleasing attitude, with his shoulder lowered. With a smile and a particular glance upon me, having allowed me to rest, the Lord spoke as follows.
श्रीभगवानुवाच वेदाहम् अन्तरमनस्स्थितं ते ददामि यत्तद् ध्रुवपम् अन्या सत्रे पुरविश्वसृजं वासुनं मत्सिद्धिकामने वासो त्वयस्तः.
O Vasu, I know from within your mind what you desired in the days of yore, when the Vasus and other demigods responsible for expanding the universal affairs performed sacrifices. You particularly desired to achieve my association. This is very difficult for others to obtain, but I award it unto you.
सा एषा साधो चरमा भवानाम् असादितस्ते मद अनुग्रहो यन्मम मृलोकन रहा उस्त्रजाम दृष्ट्या दद्रशवन् विषादृनव्यत.
O honest one, your present life is the last and the supermost because in this term of life you have been awarded my ultimate favor. Now you can go to my transcendental abode, Vaikuntha, by leaving this universe of conditioned living entities. Your visit to me in this lonely place because of your pure and unflinching devotional service is a great boon for you.
पुरा माया प्रोक्तम् अजयनाभ्ये पद्मे निशान्नय ममुदि सर्गे ज्ञानं परं मम महामि वाबनुषम् यत्सूर्यायो भगवतं वदन्ति.
O Uddhava, in the lotus millennium or in the days of yore, at the beginning of the creation, I spoke unto Brahma, who is situated on the lotus that grows out of my navel, and my transcendental glories, which the great sages describe as Srimad Bhagavatam.
इति यद्रोक्त परमस्य पुंसः प्रतीक्षानुग्रहभाजनोऽहं स्नेहोत्तरोमक्षली सरस्तं मुञ्चन् चूच प्राञ्जलुरुप अभाप्ससे.
Uddhava said, O Vidura, when I was thus favored at every moment by the Supreme Personality of Godhead and addressed by Him with great affection, my words failed in tears, and the hairs on my body erupted. After smearing my tears, I, with folded hands, spoke like this.
को निस्त्वते पादा सरोजभाजम् सुदुर्लभोर्ष्तेषु चतु चतुर्ष्व अपथा तथापि मोहं प्रवह्नोमि भूमाम् भवत्पदमभोज निश्वेशत सुक्ता.
O my Lord, devotees who engage in the transcendental loving service of your lotus feet have no difficulty in achieving anything within the realm of the four principles of religiosity, economic development, sense gratification, and liberation. But, O Great One, as far as I am concerned, I have preferred only to engage in the loving service of your lotus feet.
कर्माणि अन्तस्य भावो भवष्यते दुर्गाश्रयो थारी भयत्पलयां कलात्मनो यत् प्रमदायुतश्रमा स्वत्मं रते खिद्यति धीर्विधिं था.
My Lord, even the learned sages become disturbed in their intelligence when they see your greatness engages in fruitive work, although you are free from all desires, that you take birth although you are unborn, that you flee out of fear of the enemy and take shelter in a fort although you are the controller of invincible time, and that you enjoy householder life surrounded by many women although you enjoy in yourself.
मन्त्रेषु मम वा उपायुः यत् त्वम् अकुण्ठितकान्द सदात्मा बोद्धः प्रच्छेह प्रभो मुग्धा इव प्रमत्तास्तन्नो मनो मोहयत्वदेव.
O my Lord, your eternal self is never divided by the influence of time, and there is no limitation to your perfect knowledge. Thus, you are sufficiently able to consult within yourself. Yet you called upon me for consultation, as if bewildered, although you are never bewildered. And this act of yours bewilders me.
ज्ञानं परं स्वत्मराः प्रकाशं प्रोवचाकस्मै भगवान् समग्रम् अपि क्षमं नो ग्रहणये भर्तार् वन्दनाजस यद् विघ्नं तरेम.
My Lord, kindly explain to us, if you think us competent to receive it, that transcendental knowledge which gives enlightenment about yourself and which you explained before to Brahmaji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much for the recitation. All my humble obeisance to everyone. Absolutely wonderful recitation by both the Matajis. Hare Krishna everyone. Please accept my humble obeisances. Our Guru Shri Prabhupada. So we will just start off with the prayers. ॐ अज्ञानातिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Lalita Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jai Shri Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
We can be back into the jar.
Hare Krishna. So today we are going to do verses from 17 to 20, 4.19. It'll be nice if everybody is a bit muted, maybe. I'm not sure somebody's unmuted. Thank you. So, can I have one volunteer, please, to read the 17th to 19th verse? And 20th one we'll do later.
I can read Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Please go ahead.
Krishna Madanand Pram. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 4, Sloka number 17. Mantre sumamava upahuyu yatvam akuntika akhanda sadatma bodhaha prache prabhu mukta iva pramatas mayo mohyativa deva. Translation. O my Lord, your eternal self is never divided by the influence of time, and there is no limitation to your perfect knowledge. Thus you were sufficiently able to consult with yourself, yet you called upon me for consultation, as if bewildered, although you are never bewildered, and this act of yours bewilders me. Shall I carry on with the purport,
Yes,
Mataji?
Mataji, please read the
Okay,
purport.
Hare Krishna. Perfect. Uddhava was never actually bewildered, but he says that all these contradictions appear to be bewildering. The whole discussion between Krishna and Uddhava was meant for the benefit of Maitreya, who was sitting nearby. The Lord used to call Uddhava for consultation when the city was attacked by Jarasandha and others, and when he executed great sacrifices as part of his routine royal work as Lord of Dwarka. The Lord has no past, present, and future, but he is unhampered by the influence of eternal time, and thus nothing is hidden from him. He is eternally self-intelligent. Therefore, His calling for Uddhava to give him enlightenment is certainly astonishing. All these actions of the Lord appear to be contradictory. Although there is no contradiction in the routine activities of the Lord, therefore it is better to see them as they are and not attempt to explain them. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So, okay. So when we go back, actually, when this in this whole canto, now we know just a bit of a background. All of you know what happens when Vidura is coming from his pilgrimage and asking. Then he meets Uddhava. Now, Uddhava is giving the whole story. I'm sure all of you know by now what's the backdrop. And he's already told the pastimes of Sri Krishna as a child and then as a young man. And now they have come now where the Vrishnis and all the Bhuja dynasty, all the Yadava clan is being destroyed by indulgence with the alcohol and then among fighting and saying harsh words to each other, and then they're killing each other with those bamboo canes which were grown on the banks of the river, where they threw all these ground pieces of the iron staff, which was found in the covering when one of the young adults, young princes or whatever you say of the Yadava clan, they went and asked the sage as to say who they dressed up like a pregnant person, and they're trying to ridicule the sage in a way and asking them to predict, whether this is going to be a boy or a girl, and then the sage curses them that whatever is there in that will bring the end to your dynasty, and they all go to King Ugrasena, and then he will give the idea to grind it and throw it into the river. So up from there again, now Vidura is coming. So all the story has been being told over here by Uddhava, and then over here now over here Uddhava is being, he is the most purest devotee and Krishna's favorite devotee. Basically, you can see how Krishna is showering him with mercy over here. So much of mercy that he's given him that extreme mercy that this will be your last birth. You don't need to come here again. And he's given him straight to Vaikuntha, to go over there to Vaikuntha. This will be your last time in this lonely planet, basically. So over here, when Maitreya Muni also, so what happens in this time? All this conversation is happening. This is Uddhava is trying to tell the conversation where in the last times of Lord Sri Krishna on this planet Earth. And he describes how Lord Sri Krishna leaves all his material comforts as a king, and all the royal places where he has been living, and comes and sips some water from River Saraswati and just rests himself against the banyan tree, and with his right leg on his left thigh, very peacefully sitting down over there. And at that moment, all this conversation is happening. And then Maitreya Muni also comes, and then he also is a party to this conversation. He sits over there and he listens to Lord Sri Krishna. So over here in this part, over here Uddhava is trying to tell how Krishna, even though he's the supreme personality of Godhead, even though he is the creator and he's done everything, but he behaves like an ordinary person over here. So that really shocks him and bewilders him. He really is really confused as to why the Lord who is the super most intelligent, who is the creator, who knows everything, but still at times he calls Uddhava for advice and all that. So he's just trying to see how Lord Sri Krishna is living the role of a king as a normal person over there. That is they're trying to tell us over here in this. Sri Prabhupada explaining in this purpose is that we should not speculate much into why these things are, because we are not yet in that reason to understand Lord Sri Krishna. So sometimes when we do not know much about some things, it is just best to follow everything. This is one of the verses where we see that we can never understand the leelas or the pastimes of the Lord. If one understands, then they don't need to have an explanation over here. So here what Uddhava, this paragraph, when you see the purport, is full of contradictions. It says like, Lord is everything, but then again he's asking for consultation especially when Jarasandha came to attack him. And then even though he's quite super intelligent, he's still calling for Uddhava to give him some enlightenment. This is only for normal pastimes. You know that the Lord does not need anything of it. He does not need, but he's doing this only. There's a lesson in everything. Like sometimes you have to, some places, if suppose they knew that this is one way of thinking also, is that if they knew that he is the Lord, then people will not do anything by themselves, they will all depend upon the Lord itself. Oh, he knows everything. So there's one element over there where we will not use our brains, we will not work on it, and we will just start depending on the person, because we know that that person knows everything, they can manage everything. So maybe that's one of the leelas. It's difficult to say, but over here what Lord is trying to show is that he's really acting quite naive over here. He doesn't know anything of this world, but he's asking for, or he's making people get involved into the mundane activities. So that's what over here they're trying to say. If you can't understand, just try to follow it without any contradiction. The more you speculate, the more it becomes very confusing, because then you'll not start believing in anything at all. And then you'll be stuck in that whirlpool and be stuck over there, not able to go up anymore. So over here also they try to explain over here, the Lord has, all of us know, it has no past, no present, and no future. As the Lord was there before the world created, the Lord was there while the world is created, and he'll also be when the world has been annihilated. So and also he's never influenced by any of the time. And remember when Krishna says to Arjuna that you do not remember anything. I mean, I was there even before this war happened, and you were also there, but you don't remember. But I remember everything. I know from the beginning to the end. So this is what I was trying to say, Lord knows everything, and he's never influenced by time. So over here, Uddhava is just trying a little bit, trying to explain over here as to, for him, in a way he knows basically, but then he's also being, because over here in the first sentence it says Uddhava was never actually bewildered. He was never, because he's again a transcendental devotee of the Lord, and he knows exactly what the Lord wants. And by Lord's will, anything what we want to know is only by the Lord's desire that we will be able to know that. If the Lord does not want, then we do not understand that. So over here, Uddhava is over here because of the Lord's grace, because of Lord's mercy, he's able to understand everything. So this is what is being explained in this small paragraph over here in the purport. So if somebody reads to the next one, it will be really great. Next purport, please. Next verse. I think next 2 or 3 verses we can go together, I think. Any volunteers?
I can read, Mataji.
Please, Mataji, please. Thank you.
Thank you. From translation, Mataji?
Just read the verse also, Mataji. Can you?
Yeah, I can, Mataji.
Thank you.
Just give me, yeah. Jnanam param swa atmaraha prakasham provachakshami bhagwan samagram api shamam no grahana bharta vadanjasaya vrijinam tare.
I think I'll close my, somebody's opened.
Mataji,
I'll close mine, and so then at least you'll not have an echo. 1 second.
Translation. My Lord, kindly explain to us if you think us competent to receive it, the transcendental knowledge which gives enlightenment about yourself and which you explained before to Brahmaji. Purport. A pure devotee like Uddhav has no material afflictions because he engages constantly in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. A devotee feels afflicted without the association of the Lord. Constant remembrance of the Lord's activities keeps the devotee alive, and therefore Uddhav requested that the Lord please enlighten him with the knowledge of Srimad Bhagavatam as previously instructed to Brahmaji. Text 19 as well, Mataji. Text 19. Iti avedita hardaya mahamsa bhagwan para adi deshara vindaksha atmana paramam stitim. Translation. When I thus expressed my heartfelt desires onto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the lotus-eyed Lord instructed me about his transcendental situation. Purport. The words Paramam Sthitim are significant in this verse. The Lord's transcendental situation was not even spoken of to Brahma when the 4 verses of Srimad Bhagavatam were explained. This transcendental situation comprises his dealings with devotees engaged in transcendental loving service, as exhibited at Dwarka and Vrindavan. When the Lord explained his specific transcendental situation, it was meant for Uddhav only, and therefore Uddhav particularly said, Mayam, unto me. Although the great sage Maitreya was also sitting there, such a transcendental situation is hardly understood by those whose devotion is mixed with speculative knowledge of fruitive activities. The Lord's activities in confidential love are very rarely disclosed to general devotees who are attracted by devotion mixed with knowledge and mysticism. Such activities are inconceivable pastimes of the Lord. Hare Krishna. Text 20 as well, Mamta Mataji.
Sorry, thank you, Mataji. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So over here you can see how the Lord and Uddhava, they have a special relationship, a very special relationship between the Lord and his devotees. And it's because of special mercy of the Lord that Uddhava is getting all these special privileges, I would call it, in this mundane language. This is today's an earthly language, If you know someone very higher up, a person can get special privileges. Similarly, Uddhava is getting all special privileges from the Lord. He's the chosen one from the Lord who could pass on, and he had so much of trust in him. It's like Uttaradhikari, from one, you want to find out who's going to be your follower or who's going to lead you after you pass away. That is where Lord has chosen. So Uddhava was the chosen one of here to pass on the knowledge, transcendental knowledge about the Lord to the people, to the sages at Badrikashram. So that's why he was given the special message to go to Badrikashram and then relay all the information to the sages over there at Badrikashram. So over here, Uddhava is trying to ask the Lord, when we go back into let me just go back into the main verses, just bear with me. Because of here, Krishna will be, now this is Krishna will be telling to Uddhava. We're in Canto 3, chapter 4, right? Chapter 4. So here, the Lord will be, he'll ask the Lord to tell him about the whole creation and how whatever information he's told Brahmaji at the beginning of the creation, Uddhava would want to hear that again. So that about the Chaturshloki Bhagavatam, So maybe we could just read the 4 verses in Chaturshloki Bhagavatam, just only the verses and the translation, other than not going to the purports, because there's a special thing over here as to what was told to Brahmaji. More than that was revealed to Uddhava over here, and which you all can see over here how, if you can just go into chapter 9, I'll just read it out for you all. So 33 to 36. So chapter 9, Srimad Bhagavatam 2.9.33. Ahamevasamevagree nanyat yat sat param paschadaham yadet tacha yovashishyet sosmyaham. So the Lord is saying, Brahma, it is I, the personality of Godhead, who was existing before the creation, when there was nothing but myself, nor was there the material nature, the cause of this creation. That which you see now is also I, the personality of Godhead, and after annihilation, what remains will also be I, the personality of Godhead. So here the Lord is trying to say that He is in the beginning of the creation, and He is also at the end of at the end of annihilation. So He is the sole person over there. And the next verse will come up with all the 4 verses. Obviously, you'll know. I'm just trying to go through them. Sorry. Just to be in the context. Ritirtham yat pratiyena na pratiyat chatmani tadvidhadatmano mayam yatha bhaso yatha tamaha. O Brahma, whatever appears to be of any value, if it is without relation to me, has no reality. Know it as my illusory energy, that reflection which appears to be in darkness. So over here, the message of here given is that without the Lord, everything is valueless. Yeah. So whatever we do in our activities, if the Lord is not there in the center, then it's of no use. It's just Maya then. Or it is all in the darkness. It is all as illusionary energy, all external energy. So without the Lord in the center, whatever you do is zero basically. You will not have any weight in that. Then coming to the 3rd verse. Yatha mahanti bhutani bhuteshu chava cheshvanu pravishtanya pravishtani tatha teshu nateshvaham. O Brahma, please know that the universal elements enter into the cosmos at the same time, and at the same time do not enter into the cosmos. Similarly, I myself also exist within everything created, and at the same time, I'm outside of everything. This is so confusing, isn't it? People will not understand this part, but the Lord is there in everything and is also not there in everything. So we have to understand that He is part and parcel of everything and He is outside everything. He does not get involved into everything. So this is something only the Lord can do. Nobody else can do it like that. No human being can do. In the last verse, Etavadeva jignasam tava jignasu natmanaha anvayavya tirekabhyam yatsyat sarvatra sarvada. A person who is searching after the supreme absolute truth, the personality of Godhead, must certainly search for it up to this in all circumstances, in all space and time, and both directly and indirectly. So that jigyasa should be there, the search for the Lord should be there. So this is what is the 4th verse actually. So this is all that is, they say, all this Chatushloki Bhagavatam is all the whole thing of the whole Bhagavatam, they say. But over here, what we have to understand is the knowledge given to Brahmaji is totally is more materialistic, I would say, whereas to Uddhava it is more of transcendental. When you see that we are Uddhava, Uddhava says over here is that when he expressed his, when Uddhava was asking about it, this is what he wanted to know, the knowledge of the whole creation. Then the Lord actually told him about the Lord's transcendental situation. That was not told so much to Brahma here. So what is this transcendental situation of here is that how he deals with his devotees engaged in transcendental loving services, as you see in Vrindavana or in Dwaraka, who were in association. And Maitra, here what you have to understand of here is Uddhava was sitting there and Maitra was sitting there, but Maitra's understanding is at a different level, and Uddhava's understanding is at a different level. So like in a class, we have different levels of intelligence in the students. So a person, when they are talking, when the professor or the teacher is talking, everybody absorbs the knowledge according to their level of intelligence. A person who is highly intelligent will look into much more higher meaning into everything, whereas a person with low intelligence will just take the simple facts, So similarly over here, there is a bit of a difference between Uddhava and Sage Maitreya over here, because Uddhava is getting transcendental knowledge over here, whereas Sage Maitreya is just only listening over here. So he's just listening, whereas the other person is hearing. There's a difference between listening and hearing. Hearing is you absorb everything into your mind and then you translate everything and absorb, and then you try to make a meaning out of it. Whereas listening is it just goes off like from one ear to another ear and just goes out. Whereas in hearing, it goes from one ear, it goes in the brain, makes changes, and then makes changes in yourself, and then it comes out. So there's a big process going on in hearing. So when they say, I hear you, means they have understood what you have said. I'm listening means, okay, I'm just listening what you're saying. This only, but actually I understood what you say is called hearing. This is over here, we can see those two phases of here is Uddhava is hearing, whereas Maitra is listening. This is what I can understand from here. So such a transcendental situation is hardly understood by those whose devotion is mixed with speculative knowledge of fruitive activities. So the Lord's activities in confidential love are very rarely disclosed to the general devotees who are attracted by devotion mixed with knowledge and mysticism. Such activities are inconceivable pastimes of the Lord. So the Lord is actually giving him, so he's telling his transcendental situation to Uddhava. So Uddhava is getting special mercy over here. And over here, Uddhava says that it is only for him that this knowledge, even though Maitreya was sitting over there. In the next verse, should we just go to the next verse 20? Is that okay? Somebody? And the purport is slightly a bit longer also. Any volunteers?
Hare Krishna Mataji, I can try.
Please, Mataji. Thank you so much.
Saevam aradita pada tirtha adita tatvatma vibuddha marga pranamya pada parivritya devam iha gatuham virahaturatmam. Translation: I had studied the path of understanding self-knowledge from my spiritual master, the personality of Godhead, and thus after circumambulating him, I have come to this place very much aggrieved due to separation. Sri Uddhava's actual life is the direct symbol of the Chatushloki Bhagavatam, enunciated first to Brahmaji by the personality of Godhead. These four very great and important verses from Srimad Bhagavatam are particularly taken out by the Mayavadi speculators, who construe a different purport to suit their impersonal view of monism. Here is the proper answer to such unauthorized speculators. The verses of Srimad Bhagavatam are purely theistic science, understandable by the postgraduate students of Bhagavad Gita. The unauthorized dry speculators are offenders at the lotus feet of the Lord Sri Krishna because they distort the purpose of Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam to mislead the public and prepare a direct path to the hell known as Antatamisra. As confirmed in Bhagavad Gita, such envious speculators are without knowledge and are surely condemned life after life. They unnecessarily take shelter of Sripada Sankacharya, but he was not so drastic as to commit an offense at the lotus feet of Lord Krishna. According to Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Sripada Sankacharya preached the Mayavada philosophy for a particular purpose. Such a philosophy was necessary to defeat the Buddhist philosophy of the non-existence of the spirit soul, but it was never meant for perpetual acceptance. It was an emergency. This Lord Krishna was accepted by Sankacharya as the Supreme Personality of Godhead in his commentation on Bhagavad Gita. Since he was a great devotee of Lord Krishna, he did not dare write any commentary on Srimad Bhagavatam because he would have been a direct offense at the lotus feet of the Lord. But later speculators, in the name of Mayavada philosophy, unnecessarily made their commentary on the Chatusloki Bhagavatam without any bona fide intent. The monist dry speculators have no business in the Srimad Bhagavatam because their particular Vedic literature is forbidden for them by the great author himself. Srila Vyasadeva has definitely forbidden persons engaged in religiosity, economic development, sense gratification, and finally salvation from trying to understand Srimad Bhagavatam, which is not meant for them. Bhagavatam 1.1.2 Sripada Sridhara Swami, the great commentator on Srimad Bhagavatam, has definitely forbidden the Salvatinists or monists to deal in Srimad Bhagavatam. It is not for them, yet such unauthorized persons perversely try to understand Srimad Bhagavatam, and thus they commit offenses at the feet of the Lord, which even Sripada Shankacharya dare not do. Thus they prepare for the continuation of miserable life. It should be particularly noted here that Uddhava studied the Chatushloki Bhagavatam directly from the Lord, who spoke them first to Brahmaji. And this time the Lord explained more confidentially, and self-knowledge mentioned as the Paramam Sthitam. Upon learning such self-knowledge of love, Uddhava felt very much aggrieved by feelings of separation from the Lord. Unless one is awakened to the stage of Uddhava, everlastingly feeling the separation of the Lord in transcendental love, as exhibited by Lord Chaitanya also, one cannot understand the real importance of the four essential verses of Srimad Bhagavatam. One should not indulge in the unauthorized act of twisting the meaning and thereby putting himself on the dangerous path of offense. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you so much. So here, Srila Prabhupada is trying to explain how so what Uddhava does over here is that after he learns that after Chatushloki of what the Lord told him, what told to Brahma, he told the message has been given to Uddhava. And after that, what he does is, basically this was given so that he can feel a bit better, because he was feeling he was so much in pain that time, because he does not want to leave Sri Krishna and go. And so this is like giving like a small sort of, when somebody doesn't want to go, but you just try to pacify them by giving them a gift or something, like in remembrance or something, so that they can take that with them and go, so that they don't feel the pain so much, So like it is somewhat, it's similar to like that. It can never be fully explained as to what the feeling of what Uddhava is feeling and what Krishna is feeling of here. So Krishna is trying to send Uddhava without him. So without him feeling sad, or what should I say? Like he did not want to leave Krishna and go. But there's a purpose, and Krishna wants him to go and do the work. But then Uddhava, because he's so much engrossed in his emotions and of attachment to the Lord, is unable to perform that duty. So, but by giving this knowledge of here, then he feels a bit more relieved, and especially the transcendental knowledge. By giving that, then Uddhava feels a bit more relieved. So he's able to part ways from the Lord and go with less amount of pain over here, and because of the separation. Now, from the Chatusloki Bhagavatam, they say these 4 important verses which we read already. Srila Prabhupada is trying to say, like, these are not for the Mayavadi speculators, because they would not understand. They can't understand, first of all, because Mayavadi people are not in that level of devotion to understand about the Lord, because they take, for Mayavadi, this is 1 + 1 is always equal to 2. It can never be 1.5 or 2.5 or 0.5. So that equation they can never understand. Like how, as we say, a scientist would always want evidence, for everything. But they do not know that every time they do any experiment, there's always dynamic changes. Nothing is constant in this world. Every minute things change. So what was at the same time yesterday is not the same as the same time today, because we're always in dynamism. So we can never have 2 things same. But the scientists always think that the conditions are same. It is never the same. So, for example, of here, in that way, it's difficult to convince them, because they have that fixed mentality. So Mayavadis, for them, Srimad Bhagavatam is a big no-no, because they will try to speculate things and shred the hair into 1,000 bits, and try to find faults. So, and they can never understand Krishna. So for them, this is not at all. Like, let me just go back and say, in Bhagavad Gita, verse 16.20, it says, Asurim yo namapanna mudha janmani janmani mama prapyaiva kaunteya tato yantya dhamam gatim. Attaining repeated birth among the species of demoniac life, O son of Kunti, such persons can never approach me. Gradually, they sink down to the most abominable type of existence. So this happens with the Mayavadis, basically. They will never understand what the Lord has done. So they're not supposed to be actually reading this. Whereas the Lord has accepted Shankaracharya, because at that particular time, he was trying to save the world from the Buddhist philosophy, which they were trying to say, like, there's no spirit soul. There's no super soul. There's no spirit soul. So over there, Shankaracharya tried to get that back, that there is Lord there. So in that way, they have accepted Shankaracharya's verdict. But then Shankaracharya also did not go into the Srimad Bhagavatam, because again, it will be an offense, because his thinking would be quite different. So they left it over there. And plus, over here, what it says is, Srila Vyasadeva has definitely forbidden persons engaged in religiosity, economic development, sense gratification, and finally salvation from trying to understand Srimad Bhagavatam. So people who have a different means, they have an end point or end goal for materialistic advancement. For them, Srimad Bhagavatam will be just like any other book. It will not be a spiritual book for them. Because for devotees, every piece, everything we learn from here, we take it with so much of weight and so much of, we take it like God just speaking out, because the feelings are quite different, which a non-devotee will not be able to understand that at all. So it is better for them not to go into that at all. So in the Bhagavatam, the second verse of the first chapter, I'm just only going to read the translation. It's a long verse actually. So completely rejecting all religious activities which are materially motivated, this Bhagavat Purana propounds the highest truth, which is understandable with those devotees who are fully pure in heart. The highest truth is reality, distinguished from illusion for the welfare of all. Such truth uproots the threefold miseries. This beautiful Bhagavatam, compiled by the great sage Vyasadeva in his maturity, is sufficient in itself for God realization. What is the need of any other scripture? As soon as one attentively and submissively hears the message of Bhagavatam, by this culture of knowledge, the Supreme Lord is established within his heart. So here very rightly it says over here that you will not, people who are non-devotees will never understand the Srimad Bhagavatam. So this is only for pure devotees, Srimad Bhagavatam. They will understand the meaning of it. Otherwise, everybody will just think it as a mundane book. And over here, there's lots of Sripad Shankaracharya. He did not go into the, he did not delve into Srimad Bhagavatam. Obviously, Lord will only allow certain people to do it as much as you say. There is always a supernatural being, supernatural force which allows us to do what we do. Because as we say, example, like from the mother's womb, 3 children are born. They give the same type of, they have the same conditions in the house, like whatever, they give the same platform for them to develop, but everybody develops differently. And that's because all of us know because of their own previous karmas or whatever it is and Lord's desire. The same way, wherever there's an important thing, what we have to learn is about the Lord's desire in everything. If the Lord does not want certain things to happen, it will not happen, however you try. If the Lord wants you to do something, even with minimum effort, you will get all your results. All of us have gone through this Kartik month, which we learned this very important lesson of why the 2 fingers short, the rope was not fully bound. Yashodama was trying to bind Lord Damodar with the rope, but she was always falling short of 2 fingers. Obviously, all of us know one is for endeavor, your personal endeavor, and Krishna's mercy. Unless he is mercy, he was so merciful to Maya Yashoda that he got himself tied down. She was trying so hard, and continuously she was trying to bind him, but she wasn't able to. But he was also wanting. So all that, what the whole lesson is, we have to have an endeavor. We have to work hard. We have to leave the results to the Lord. That's what Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita also. You just do your work and leave the rest. Do not worry about the results. Just surrender unto me. So over here, what we see is, so the Lord explained more confidentially the self-knowledge, to Uddhava. And once learning the self-knowledge of love, Uddhava felt very much aggrieved. He felt a bit more better with the feelings of separation. So over here, what the lesson of here is, unless one is awakened to the stage of Uddhava, so that is a big, 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 tall order for us, To be to the stage of Uddhava is a big ask. Imagine how much we have to do. Everlastingly feeling the separation of Lord in transcendental love, as exhibited by Lord Chaitanya also. One cannot understand the real import of the 4 essential verses of Srimad Bhagavatam. So unless you're at that level, it is difficult for you to understand the Chaturshloki Bhagavatam. So we should not, we are being warned of here, we should not try to speculate and try to twist the meaning and put it, so that means making a big, big offense. So over here, then what happens over here is that Uddhava, then he explains, this is all he's telling to Vidura, all the stories. And afterwards, then obviously he'll start off his path to Badrikashram. And then he will ask, Vidura will be asking more questions, and he'll say, Maitreya was also listening at the same time before the Lord left this earth. So you have to go and get the whole of the story from Maitreya now. And if you had one particular point, I think the Lord says, this place is lonely, this like Matyalok is lonely. I felt that very much interesting, because yes, for all the heavenly beings, earth is very lonely. When Lord belongs to the spiritual world, and for them, the material world is very, very lonely. So every time Krishna brings with him all his associates so that he can be at home wherever he goes. You know, so this is something which, I don't know which verse was it. Oh God, I can't find it. I can't find the verse now, but I felt over here that it was, he felt that this is lonely, he said. Let me see which one is that. No, I can't find that one. That's okay. So it's all right. I think if I find, I'll let you know. So there, obviously, then Vidura goes to find Maitreya, and Uddhava goes to Badrikashram to be with the sages Nara and Narayana, and then that's how this chapter ends over here. So with then Vidura, where obviously he literally cries out, because Krishna also tries to remember him, and obviously you feel very much hurt that you have been remembered by the Lord, and then he gets really disturbed. He starts crying, and then obviously he starts he spends some time in the banks of River Yamuna, and then he goes to Ganga, where Maitreya Muni will be sitting over there. So he'll go to listen to him. So that's where this chapter ends of here, actually. But these verses are very of here. What we learn from this particular 4 verses is that Uddhava was given this special mercy by the Lord, that he would not come back to this earth, and he's given this special place to go to Vaikuntha. But Uddhava will always ask to be, so that he can serve the Lord's lotus feet. That is his desire. And that is what we all devotees, all of us desire. All the Vaishnavas never ask for any liberation. They ask to be the servant of the servant of the servant of the servant, and as many servants as possible, the lotus feet of the Lord. You know, that is our desire. So being a Vaishnava is a special breed, so very, very rare to find. And we never get this chance again. We don't know what life we're going to have next. So we have to be a true Vaishnava as much as possible in this world, even though we are among lots of material energy or illusory energy of the Lord. Try to search the Lord in everything you do. And as the Lord said, without the Lord, everything is of no use. So the Lord has to be in center of anything we do. Then everything becomes meaningful. Otherwise, it's all meaningless. That's the takeaway point from here, that whatever we do, we should keep the Lord in the center. And then you will see the results will be totally different. And that, because your understanding is totally different, and you start seeing things in a different way. But if you don't have the Lord in that, whatever you do, you start seeing things in a different way. That's not going to last at all. It will just vanish away very quickly, like ashes, like dust. So the takeaway point is, the Lord is the center of everything. Hare Krishna. Please forgive me for any mistakes or any other thing. If any questions, the floor is open now.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Can I ask a question, please?
Please, thank you.
Yeah, so how do I bring the Lord in the center? I mean, is it through visualization or how
No, any process you do,
yes.
so anything you do, it is like, I suppose you're doing things for your family. You take the Lord into it as one of your family member. So the Lord has to be the first. Like, I mean, you're cooking your food, like, for example, you're going to the market, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So you want to buy some vegetables. Even though you're having, in the beginning, what happens, our materialistic desires will be there first. Oh, I want to eat this. I want to have paneer. I want to have mutton. I want to have this. I want to have that. So that I will be replaced by Lord Krishna. I think Lord Krishna will like this, Yashoda Maya would, I mean, he would say, Lord Krishna would like to have this kheer. I can make this kheer a bit more nicer for Lord Krishna. Let you just imagine as the Lord Krishna is there in your life. And when you start putting that, then you will see things will be quite different. And the same thing, I mean, if you do, suppose you want to do something, if you want to say something to someone, and you don't want, I mean, sometimes you see, like, you're very angry with someone, but you want to tell them something, but you can soften that because um, you can imagine that God is there in them too. So Lord Krishna is there. And would I actually tell anything to Lord Krishna like that? Would I say things to Lord Krishna at all? So anyway, you put everything, Krishna should come in between, Then what will happen? You will see your attitude, everything will start changing. The way, if I want to say something, I mean, Ninda, you're not supposed to do a Ninda, you're not supposed to say anything to any other Vaishnava. It's a wrong, biggest offense. But we are still in this material world. We'll try to talk about somebody else. But if it was Lord Krishna, would we talk about Lord Krishna like that? Or because every being had Krishna in them, right? As a super soul. Everybody has. So Krishna is there in everybody. So try to remember that Krishna is there. So what happens, what we tend to do is we forget Krishna is there in everything. And we think about ourselves all the time. I all the time. Instead of I, it becomes we, or it becomes the Lord, whatever. So you have to involve Krishna in everything. I don't know whether I'm clear about or not. So for me, like, if I want to go and cook some food, I will try to think like, okay, I'll do paneer. I think Krishna will like this paneer today. I hope he likes this one. Or something like that way, try to involve. And slowly, what will happen? You start getting Krishna into your life every day. People who do service, all the devotional service, all the temples and all you go, Mataji's and all the Prabhujis and everybody on the home, they'll be thinking, oh, Krishna, so this dress I'm going to wear for Krishna, and this flowers will look very nice with Krishna. Or this is the food I'm going to wear. I think Krishna will like this food. Their mentality is so different. They'll be not thinking about ourselves. They'll be thinking about, oh my God, I haven't done this. I haven't done this seva. Krishna will be late. It'll be late for Krishna's breakfast. It'll be late for Krishna's bath. It'll be late for this. So they try to involve everything into that. So even any small activities in your house, try involving that as though you were there in Brajadham with Krishna or something like that. I don't know whether I'm clear.
Yeah. Now it's becoming a bit clear for me. Yeah. So when I'm interacting with someone, I always have to bring Krishna. Like
Everything.
seeing that, yeah, even though if they are, I don't know, there's a conflict or something, but still I have to see them like they are, Krishna dwells in them.
Yeah, and what is the reason behind it? Maybe once you bring Krishna, everything starts becoming a bit more softer,
Okay.
because Krishna doesn't like conflict as such. He likes to be happy all the time.
That's true.
But good, and he has to go. But I think he doesn't like. You have to see the Krishna as the Vraja Krishna. Not Vishnu is different. Vishnu is, again, he's meant to fight. Yeah, Vishnu's role is to.
Okay.
Whereas Krishna's role is to live in peace, like a family man, no conflicts, nothing, be happy. But Vishnu's role is at work. Okay, if there's a problem, I'll come and deal with it, or I'll solve with it. But Krishna is very, very, very gentle, very soft, very nice at home.
Okay.
So we'll try to change ourselves into a peaceful person rather than because as Kali Yuga goes on, there'll be more and more conflicts because people are more indulgent into themselves rather than the Lord. and they become more and more aggressive. And for every small, even the small, as you say, Duryodhana, imagine Duryodhana couldn't even give the land which takes the space of a needle tip, and the whole war started because of that. He said, I will not give the land which is occupied with the tip of a needle. Just imagine how materialistic he became, how self-indulgent he became. And that's where it brought a whole disruption to his whole. If you look at it, even though all this was already pre-planned, but when you look at the materialistic eyes, the example which you can take is, it only became with the land, isn't it? He didn't want to give the small, they asked only for 5 villages. They didn't even ask anything else, Pandavas. Krishna went as a mediator and asked for five villages for the Pandavas, so that they can do, they don't want the land. But Duryodhana was so much greedy and so much self-indulgent. He said, I will not even give the land which is occupied with the tip of a needle. Imagine how much that land is. So that where the ego comes, where the pride comes. So all these things are negative things which we need to eradicate from ourselves. And humbleness, being honest, being truth, all these are qualities which we need to develop. And that will come slowly, and then it takes away all these materialistic negative things, because as we know, we have to live in this Kali Yuga where things are becoming more and more worse. Now you can see in everyday life, you see how children are before. Now you're sitting at home, you're not even moving anything, you're not even moving your body, and everything is delivered to your house. But what is the thing it is making you? It is making you lazy. It's making you more dependent on lots of people. And imagine if that service doesn't work, then you would be stuck. You would not be able to do those things which you were normally doing. You won't even move your hands and legs. It will cause you more illnesses, more diseases, everything at the tip of a finger. So technology, however good it is, it also has the same amount of negative connotations. So I think we have to go a little bit behind, just stop, only use technology when we require and not much. And so that you don't get involved into wrong things, I would say. And be in association. So the main thing is association with living souls is very important, not with just images or with in the technology world where everything is so not so realistic. I feel it is more of imaginary things where artificial intelligence is coming and taking over so much crazy. And now the time will happen where somebody will speak for you. They'll take your picture of your face and your voice and your eyes and everything. And they'll bring another clone of you. They'll start doing things for you. All these things which you see in the movies, that is somebody else's mind, isn't it? Talking. The same things can happen. So we have to really be in good association and good sangha and try to, I don't know, nowadays we want to live the world, also materialistic world too, but at the same time we have to be spiritual. So by being spiritual, at least we don't get entangled into the wrong side of the technology. That we would use the technology in the right way, not abuse it in a way, I would say. So I think what we're doing now, having the right sangha and good association and listening to Bhagavatam and listening to all these things is quite, it can be relieving you. There'll be no anxiety, the less anxiety you'll have, and just doing what is required and keeping yourself focused. That will all come when we listen to the Vedic scriptures, because everything is in the scriptures which tells us what to do and what not to do.
Okay, thank you, Mataji.
I hope I was able to answer something.
Yes, it was really nice. Thank you.
Thank you. I think Indulekha Mataji has a hand up.
Yes, Mataji, Hare Krishna. Please can you accept my humble obeisances, O Good Prabhupada. It's so nice to be in your class once again after so long. But I've been listening to the recording though, right? I told you the other day. Yes. Thank you for this nice explanation of the meeting of Maitreya with Lord Krishna and with Uddhava. we are talking about the level of understanding of Vidura and Maitreya. So Maitreya was an impersonalist. Although he was a sage, he was an impersonalist. That's why the Lord did not choose him, but instead he chose Uddhava because of his level of understanding. So
Yeah.
then Maitreya reached there. That also was a desire of the Lord.
Yes.
Because soon after the Lord leaves this material world, Vidura, he will meet Uddhava, right? And seeing Uddhava so distraught, Vidura will ask Uddhava about the reason. Why is this dejection? Why are you so sad? So Uddhava just said that Lord Shri Krishna left this world and he went to his own abode. And Vidura will ask about the last instructions the Lord gave. But Uddhava will not be able to reveal. So due to his situation, and also because Vidura, he was much older than Uddhava. And he found it, yes. And Uddhava would find it very difficult to instruct someone who is like his father. That's why Maitreya was there. This is the reason behind why Maitreya was there. Then Vidura will get the instructions from Maitreya. And if we see Bhagavatam is so beautiful, conversation into conversation. This said that, and then it's ongoing. And about Sankaracharya, he had a mission. He had to do that. He was sent by the Lord to do that. But before leaving this material world, he said something very beautiful. Bhaja Govinda, Bhaja Govinda, Bhaja Govinda, Madamushe. He's telling that we are all idiots. We are all like Mudha. We have to Bhaja Govinda. A very beautiful song. And then he instructs, before leaving, he changed all his disciples into believing about Krishna is the Supreme Lord. And Uddhava also, he didn't want to leave the Lord. It reminds me of the pastime of Hanumanji. When Lord Ram was leaving for Saket Dham, Hanumanji wanted to go. So Lord Ram said, no, you have to stay here and you have to teach everyone about your bhakti, because he was a big bhakta. So it is said that Hanumanji, he's still around. He came as Murari Gupta, and then he's still around. He's still, wherever there is Ram Katha, he's present. Nobody may know him, but he is there. That's why we do the invocation and we welcome all the demigods and all before we start any Katha. Thank you, Mataji. Thank you. I just wanted to share.
Thanks a lot. Thank you, Mataji, for the comment. Yes, and obviously we know there's so many people around still, isn't it? About so many souls are still alive. Ashwathama, then Vibhishana, Hanumanji. There are about 11 souls of them who are there around actually.
Yeah.
Still alive and to guide us, basically, to guide these souls.
Yeah, we have Narayan who is still praying for us.
Yes.
Yeah.
Lovely. Thank you. Thank you so much, Mataji. Thank you so much for the input. So if there are no more questions, I think we're just past over 9 at UK time. So should we end the session with some prayers, or is there anything else, Mataji?
Hare Krishna, Mataji. If there are no more questions and comments, we can end the class. How are you, Mataji?
I'm okay, Mataji. Oh, I don't know what should I say it on the system or not, but I did a very silly thing, Mataji. I'm so great. Maybe I should tell it now because you've asked. 2 days ago, Mataji, this was on Kartika Purnima, the next day. This is in the village, there is obviously electricity goes off very much. So we have this inverter. And I was just trying to set this inverter, right? And we're trying to work it on. And then, Mataji, I got electrocuted. Can you believe it?
Oh, no.
I thought, can you believe it? I could feel the current going inside me. I don't know when it got touched me, the live wire. And I could feel the current going inside me. And I can't do anything. And I'm alive, thinking, doing everything, but I cannot free myself out. And I was literally shaking like my hand because it wasn't allowing me to do anything. It was the current was going in and I was fibrillating like both my arms and legs. And I'm stuck in this corner. Nobody can cross me. Nobody can do anything. Nobody's knowing what is happening. And I'm thinking of here. I'm stuck here. I'm in a village, stuck here. And I know after if the current goes on more, then my heart is going to stop. You know, it is so horrible, the feeling. And I'm thinking of here now, my heart is going to stop. And I'm just, you see, believe Mataji, this is like how I didn't even think about the Lord, you know. I was just saying like, now nobody's going to save me. Nobody can save me. Nobody can save me. I just said this, Mataji, twice. Nobody can save me. Now nobody can save me. Can you believe it? Within that next minute, the wire somehow got dislodged and the shock, the current stopped and I got up. Had it, and people over there near the door, it was all locked. People are banging on the door. People are standing here. Nobody can do anything about it. I had that wire. I don't know how miraculously the wire came out, whether it was shook and off. I have no answer for it. But I'm alive, sitting before you and talking to you today. And the other that also, I thought that was a miracle for me. I would have been dead. This is my next life, actually. This is what I feel. And I have 2 entry points of where the electric shock went. And I'm thinking like, oh my God, this is like a live thing, which is so, I don't know, should I laugh or cry? I don't even know what to do. But I'm glad that I'm alive. And I know this is a miracle for me, and Krishna listens.